Yo. You're in the mix.
The world's finest, man. DJ.
We're doing it live, and we're doing it real on YouTube. It's the What's the Real Deal radio show every Friday night weekly.
Oh my God. Shut the front door.
What?
If you're weak-minded or sensitive, you might get your feelings hurt in here. Jump up game with the fam. And remember to like, share, and subscribe.
What's good, people? What's good, people? Big Rich here from Big Rich Live on the Mic Radio Show here on YouTube. And welcome to the next installment of Big Rich Movie Review. Sorry I missed last week. If you guys are subscribing to this channel, if you follow the other shows, you know that I was sick as a dog. I'm sorry, 8 dogs last week. So we missed that installment. So I'm trying to catch up, but I'm trying not to overdo it because if you can listen to my voice, you still hear some of the congestion I have in my head. So we're going to try to make it do what it do today. We're going to talk about today Kong Skull Island. First of all, let me just say how much I enjoyed this movie, okay? I'm a Godzilla fan, you know what I'm saying? I've always been a monster fan. Used to watch it when I was a kid. Matter of fact, every Godzilla movie except for the original one with Raymond Burr, I think that was when he was narrating it. I didn't like that. It was black and white, plus it was just horrible. So that's the only one I don't have. But everything from then on, I have. Even that disastrous Godzilla movie that was in New York City with Matthew Broderick. I still have that, even though I don't watch it anymore. But I have it. So to me, Godzilla is the king of all the monsters. He's just cool. Okay. However, Kong, you know, I've seen all of those. You know, when King Kong was first brought together, you had the black and white one. Then you had Mighty Joe Young, which was supposed to be King Kong's son. Then you had different iterations of it. You know, he had the one in the 70s where he didn't, the first and only time that he didn't climb the Empire State Building, he climbed the World Trade Center, which was pretty cool. I think that, to me, that was the best. And then you had, you know, a couple of others and stuff like that. And you have one, and I want to say 2010, between 2005, 2010. That was okay. You know, it was okay. It was okay. This one was put together well. I enjoyed it. I liked the premise of where it was, and now you could sort of see how they're building up to the crescendo, and I think it's 2020, where it's Godzilla versus King Kong and stuff like that. You could see how, you know, how everything worked. But this review, we're talking about Kong Skull Island. Kong Skull Island, to me, was an action-packed, you know, kind of action thriller, if you know what I'm talking about, right? It was sat down. It made you sit down and roll. I'm glad that they, how about I put this? I'm glad that they learned, because let's just back up. The same people, Legendary, who did Godzilla a few years back, did this, okay? And they learned a lot. They learned that if you go to see Godzilla, or you go to see Kong, or later on King Ghidorah and Rodan and Mothra, when you go to see a movie like that, you want to see them. You don't really want to see the majority of the flick humans. I could see that anywhere. So you saw Kong, you saw him damn near in opening credits. He was in the first 5 to 6 minutes. I mean, you saw him pretty much not in his full glory, but you saw enough of him. You was like, oh shit. and then it just basically took off from there. It was a roller coaster. So you had some ebbs and flows, but the flows weren't that. Deep. The ebbs was high. The flows came down a little bit, but it was put together nicely. Now the cast was Tom Hiddleston, Loki fame, the honorable Samuel Jackson, Brie Larson, John Goodman, Corey Hawkins, who was he got his start, his big break in Straight Outta Compton. So the cast was very diverse. It was, I felt that everything was put together. I mean, Sam Jackson played an excellent, hell of a role. Let me do a disclaimer. There will be spoilers, so you should have saw that on the thumbnail. There will be spoilers. Tom Hiddleston played James Conrad. He was a ex British intelligence SAS officer, I want to say. And he was basically almost like the Indiana Jones type thing, where now he was in, third world countries. This time it was Thailand and Bangkok, and, having bar fights and all that type of stuff. And he was actually found by, he was actually found by the John Goodman character to basically lead an expedition into this island, okay, that was this totally surrounded by perpetual darkness and thunderstorm, lightning, thunderstorm, and stuff like that. So for years, it's gone, not uninhabited, but not really known to the general public, right? So they, with satellites, they find it. John Goodman and Corey Hawkins work for this covert organization called Monarch, which is basically for not necessarily like alien life, but like monsters. They look for monsters basically, and they find this. They go to a senator who is the chairman of their committee to find out if he would give them permission to go and look for or look for whatever they can find over there. So he winds up doing it. They need a military escort. Well, Sam Jackson, that's where his character, Preston Packard, he's lieutenant colonel of a unit that was fighting in the Vietnam War, and it was actually being pulled out as the downsizing of the war troops in Vietnam. And before they got stateside, he was called and given the opportunity, I would say, the orders to escort John Goodman and Corey Hawkins characters to the island, okay, and their team. So jumping ahead, again, all of this is going, all of this background and foundation is being taken care of very, very tightly. It's not like you go off and, because you have so many characters, you go off, you got 5 minutes here, you got 10 minutes here, this character, another 5 minutes, this character, another 2 minutes, this character. So it's like 30 minutes, 45 minutes into the dang on show, into the movie, and you have not seen who you came to see. That was my one hiccup, my main complaint of Godzilla. I didn't give a damn about the main character and his wife and his fight to get home. I wanted to see Godzilla. That's what I wanted to see. And every time you saw Godzilla, they snatched it from you. So it was like, here, psych, that type of stuff. So they learned with Kong. You saw Kong pretty much through the entire movie. The skull crawlers, to me, were 100% better than the Mutos of Godzilla. The Mutos, to me, seemed cheap and cumbersome. You feel what I'm saying? I felt that they could have done a lot better. It was just like a throw-in. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're using a a monster who anybody who knows anything about monsters know about Godzilla. So Toho, who is the company in Japan who basically started the monster genre, and they've done what 50 movies or something like that with Godzilla related, Gamera, that type of stuff right there. I just thought that the Mutos in that particular movie were just poorly constructed. These skull crawlers, even though I felt they could have been a little bit better, they was a lot better than on Godzilla. So the big bads was pretty cool. The backstory of how they basically took out Kong's entire family, and Kong is basically the last of his kind. I like that, the way they put that together. Once, now we almost into the second phase of the movie, or the middle phase of the movie. They're in the island, they're dropping charges. Excuse me. They're in the island, they're dropping charges. And all of a sudden, you see this big tree flying through the air, and it takes out one of the helicopters, okay? Because Sam Jackson has, I want to say, 10 or 12 helicopters, full of his battalion, or wasn't in the army, so I don't really know what they're called. And Kong just pretty much made mincemeat of every one of the helicopters, just mincemeat, tearing them down, snatching them out of the air, throwing them against each other, just basically just took them out in one fell swoop. Well, that caused Sam Jackson's character to now become Captain Ahab to Moby Dick. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who knows that whole story knows what I'm saying. Because of the death and destruction of his troops. Because, shoot, that whole thing, even though I said that Kong destroyed all 10 or 12 helicopters, he didn't kill every man that was in the battalion. So I would say maybe half the men were killed in action, right? So he, from that point on, his whole mantra, his whole goal was to kill Kong regardless, no matter what the cost was. And sometimes you have things that happen in your life, right? Sometimes you have things that happen in your life that cause you to go over the deep end. And Sam was basically, went over the deep end. So towards the end of the second phase, into the third and final phase, you change from, okay, Sam is a badass, but something is wrong with him, to kind of sort of despising his character, okay? And without giving away the ending, I said earlier, if you know about Moby Dick and Captain Ahab, then you know what happened to Captain Ahab at the end of that book, at the end of that movie. That's exactly what happened to Sam Jackson's character. One thing that was funny, there's always a saying, any brothers that's in the dang on movie, they dying before the credits roll, before the credits end, the introductory credits. So in this particular case, you had, like I said, a diverse crew, but you had two brothers that ended alive, and including one brother, what's his name? I gotta find it. The Corey Hawkins, who played Houston Brooks, he actually took over Monarch. It seemed like he took over Monarch because John Goodman's character, was killed. Now, certain people were saying that they didn't really connect with a lot of the characters. I connected with pretty much all the characters. I really did. Shay Wilhelm, he played Cole. I loved him. Jason Mitchell and Mills, I loved him too. Eugene Cordero, he was Rayleigh's. I loved him. I connected. Tom Hiddleston, I connected with. He just played a badass character. I really did connect with him. Brie Larson, she was cool. She was cool, but unfortunately, she played this. No, I can't even say that. I wasn't gonna say she played the stereotypical female, but she really didn't. She more than held her own, and she was cool. John C. Reilly playing Hank Marlowe, he was awesome. He was also in the beginning of the movie with Kong, and he survived on that island for 28 years. Basically, John C. Reilly's character was a lieutenant who served in World War II and was actually in a dogfight, a plane dogfight with a Japanese pilot. Both of them shot each other down. They both landed on the island, started fighting, chased each other. Just before one of them died, here comes Kong. Their eyes get bug-eyed, and then you actually think that they're dead. But then later you find out that Kong didn't destroy them, didn't eat them. And really and truly, you don't even know if that was Kong. Now that you think about it, because he was dead 28 years. By the time Sam Jackson's people came to that island, it was 28 years after World War II. So maybe that was Kong. Maybe that was Kong Daddy. You don't really know what it was. That's something, you would think of, and you'd be, the analytical thinkers would think of that. And the average person wouldn't be thinking that at all. But without getting too much into it, I'm going to give my grade. I actually will give this a solid 9, a solid A. The IMDb score is 7.1 out of 10. The Rotten Tomato score is 79%. The movie is an hour and 58 minutes long, so that's about 2 hours long. This is something that I really think that you should go to. It came out March 10th. Like I said, I saw it yesterday. It was $190 million budget. So far, it's only grossed $166 million. I'm sorry, $166 million. Unfortunately, I don't think that it's going to be like a $1 billion club. I hope it breaks even, because this is the second installment, towards this monster universe that they're trying to get together and stuff like that, put together. So I definitely recommend that you see it. It's also in 3D. I don't like 3D with these glasses. I don't like it. The 3D glasses get in the way. So, but it's not really a movie that I would say you must see in 3D. I mean, when I said the tree came through the air, that probably something that looked good in 3D. Some of the skull crushers, when they came through, when they was running towards the screen, that might have been cool. Kong at one time was running when him and Sam face off in this staring contest. Then he started running towards Sam. That might have been cool, but it's not something. Excuse me, so sorry. It's not something that I would say that you have to see in 3D. But I would definitely recommend you see this movie at the theater. So that'll be the end of our show. I think our next week's show is going to be The Great Wall. That was actually supposed to be this show, but I saw Kong yesterday, so I wanted to get it fresh out of my mind and on wax, if you will. So I think the next week will be The Great Wall with what the heck is his name? It'll come to me. It'll come to me. I can't remember. And just that daggone quick. But in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed, stay woke, stay safe. Peace. And I'm out of here.